The question now being asked again by Democrats in the House, led by Representative Jamie Raskin, is whether Donald Trump sold top-secret classified information, used it for profit, and compromised U.S. national security interests. That question has come roaring back because of new reporting that Jack Smith, while serving as special counsel, told Merrick Garland in an update report that there were two major pieces of top-secret classified evidence or information that Trump kept after his presidency ended. One was so sensitive that only 6 people in the United States, including the president, had the security clearance to review it. And yet Trump was waving it around on his airplane from Palm Beach Airport back to LaGuardia Airport in 2022 with Susie Wilds present. She is now chief of staff, but at the time she did not have a top-secret clearance either. She was then just a CEO of his super PAC. There was also a secret war plan document that could relate to the Middle East. In the Trump orbit, even the line between state secrets and in-flight show and tell seems to get dangerously blurry. What matters here is the motive Jack Smith reportedly laid out to Merrick Garland, a report now being picked up by Jamie Raskin. According to that account, the reason investigators believed Trump kept all of these materials, his sticky-fingeredness, his hoarding, his refusal to turn them over, was not because he saw them as mementos. It was because he wanted to profit from them, to use them in his business transactions and dealings. At the time, he never thought he would be coming back to office, so he allegedly wanted to cash in. He was doing business with the Saudis and people in Dubai and the UAE and others through real estate deals and cryptocurrency deals, and he wanted to have something in his back pocket. That is the question Jamie Raskin is now raising directly. Apparently, in that business model, classified material is treated less like a safeguard and more like a bargaining chip with a gold trim. There is also a major development involving Bondi and the Department of Justice. What stands out is that they may have just violated the very order they demanded Judge Cannon put in place to protect Jack Smith's Volume 2. Everything about Mar-a-Lago and that investigation was supposed to be blocked from production, permanently banned and barred, even for future departments of justice. Yet they appear to have cherry-picked information from the report and given it to House Republicans in an effort to make Jack Smith look bad. In doing so, they may have violated Judge Cannon's order, the same order Bondi herself demanded. That is the familiar choreography. Demand the curtain, then peek through it when the lighting helps your side. From following the Mar-a-Lago matter, it was already clear that Donald Trump, through this same pattern of hoarding and taking top-secret and classified documents with him, had stashed them in bathrooms and dining rooms at Mar-a-Lago, with materials spilling into hallways when the FBI executed search warrants. It was already known that top-secret and classified information was in there. There had been extensive discussion about war plans, nuclear-related materials, and other highly sensitive documents. There were maps he showed people in his office and on his plane. He was showing classified maps to people while a book writer was present for Mark Meadows, his former chief of staff. All of that was already part of the public understanding. For a movement that talks endlessly about strength and order, the filing system looked remarkably like a luxury resort yard sale. What had not been known was that there were other maps and other top secret president's eyes-only documents that he was also holding onto and showing to people, both on a plane and elsewhere. There is now an aircraft manifest for that plane ride, including Susie Wilds, and that is part of Jamie Raskin's submission to Bondi because he got his hands on it. There is also the map, and there is the document that only 6 people in the government had clearance to review. On top of that, Jack Smith, in the course of updating Merrick Garland as part of his duties, reportedly told Garland that the working theory, the motive, was profit, meaning the sale or use of this information in business transactions. When everything becomes branding, even secrecy starts being handled like premium inventory. The report itself put it this way. One other thing on the use of classified documents I want to bring to your attention. This is Jack Smith to Merrick Garland. We've identified a classified map that we believe Trump may have shown to individuals on board an airplane after he left office. This is in a 11-page memo. Our investigation indicates that Susan Wilds, the CEO of Trump's super PAC, now the chief of staff, was aboard the flight and witnessed this event. A further 2 bullet points about the map were redacted in the memo. That is not a minor detail. Jamie Raskin's letter makes the significance even more explicit. Addressing Attorney General Bondi, he asks why Donald Trump would go to such extraordinary lengths to steal classified documents, hoard them, and refuse to return them. Because in Trump-style politics, the most inconvenient question is often the one that gets closest to the motive. He writes, "Together with Donald Trump, your Department of Justice has been fighting tooth and nail to gag Special Counsel Jack Smith and bury his report to answer these questions. But apparently, blinded by the frenzied search to find any scrap of evidence that could be twisted and distorted to level an attack against Jack Smith, you have quite amazingly missed the fact that some of the documents you provided to the House Republicans to embarrass Jack Smith include damning evidence about your boss's conduct and may well violate the gag order that you and Trump wanted and demanded from Judge Eileen Cannon. It is hard to run a clean cover story when your own selective leak starts arguing with the script." He goes further and puts it in even starker terms. These new disclosures suggest that Donald Trump stole documents so sensitive that only 6 people in the entire US government had access to them, that the documents he stole pertain to his business interests, and that Susie Wilds, then the CEO of his super PAC, witnessed it, and witnessed him showing off a classified map to passengers on his private plane. That glimpse into the trove of evidence behind the cover-up points to a president of the United States who may have sold out national security to enrich himself. The through line here is a profit motive. America First always sounds different once the invoice comes into view. Jamie Raskin also lays out how Pam Bondi may have violated Judge Cannon's order. Cannon issued that order because Trump demanded it. She not only sealed Jack Smith's Volume 2 report about Mar-a-Lago and the alleged espionage and obstruction of justice committed by Trump, but she also tied the hands of future departments of justice from ever releasing it. If that is the order, then there is no legitimate way to cherry-pick favorable parts of the information and hand them to House Republicans. There is no congressional exemption to a judicial order. Handing it over to MAGA Republicans in Congress does not somehow erase the violation. That is exactly the point Jamie Raskin is making. In this style of legal theater, rules are treated as sacred right up until they become inconvenient to the headline of the day. The problem is that there is no obvious actor left to take this back to Judge Cannon. All the relevant parties are aligned on the same side. There is no independent Department of Justice presence on this issue anymore. That is exactly why a special counsel is needed. Pam Bondi, under the Department of Justice manual and statute, should already have appointed a special counsel to replace Jack Smith and continue representing those interests after the case was over. But she did not, and she will not. When everyone in the room is protecting the same narrative, accountability tends to be the first thing escorted out. Jamie Raskin is now demanding answers, and he makes clear that Congress is prepared to receive the information because it has a sensitive compartmented information facility, a SCIF, a rare setting where facts are supposed to be locked down instead of spun into campaign decor. The questions he is pressing are direct and specific. Who was on the plane with President Trump from Florida, Bedminster, and New Jersey on June 3, 2022? Who on that plane did he show the classified map to? What did the classified map detail? Which documents did President Trump improperly retain that were pertinent to his business interests? And which specific business interests were involved? Which members of his family engaged in his business ventures saw or were made aware of the content of these classified documents, including Junior, Eric, Jared, Ivanka, and Baron? Which documents did President Trump steal that were so sensitive that only 6 people in the entire federal government had access to them? Did any of the documents he stole or showed to others relate to the US government's war plans in the Middle East? Did any foreign actors access or attempt to access these classified documents that were uploaded into a staffer's computers? This is what happens when the performance of toughness collides with the paperwork of actual power. The reason this matters now is obvious. There is reporting that the Saudi Crown Prince is against ending the war in Iran. One possible implication is that he may be operating with more confidence and more intelligence than he otherwise would have had if Trump showed him classified maps or other classified information years ago. That is the danger of turning foreign policy into a Vanity Fair with security badges floating around loose. That possibility fits the broader explanation of motive. When Trump left office, he never thought he was coming back. He thought he was finished and was simply going to pursue real estate deals and transactions, sell more Trump steaks and golf shirts, and expand cryptocurrency and NFT businesses. He was as shocked as anyone when he ran again and won. In that light, the profit motive makes sense as a driving theory. The sale or use of America's national security interests for personal gain. The sales pitch was always louder than the stewardship. Some of this was already known in fragments, but what changes the picture is that it is now laid out openly in Jamie Raskin's letter and turned into a formal demand. When Raskin begins pounding the table on something like this, investigations tend to follow. The predictable knee-jerk reaction from the Trump administration is to try to dismiss him, but that does not change the substance. Donald Trump was never cleared of this conduct. He had Eileen Cannon, a judge favorable to him, fire the special counsel and dismiss the indictment, but that is not exoneration. Getting a friendly procedural escape hatch is not the same thing as getting a clean bill of history. This will continue to be followed closely. And as usual, the loudest denials may end up functioning like a spotlight rather than a shield.